much gas does he have left? Not enough.
We're gonna be too late. It's a body recovery now.
No, it's not. I'm not losing a diver today.
Congratulations on this movie. I found it really inspiring and rather horrifying at times. A large percentage of this film takes place underwater, obviously, which I'm assuming lends itself to some rather unique filming experiences. What's the most unexpected challenge that you encountered when shooting this film?
I was definitely running out of air. Yeah. That would probably be well, because we wanted the sequences to be practical. So we shot in this tank in Malta, and we used we got the helmet right there, the real SAT helmet that saturation divers use, connected to the umbilical that connected to the surface and, through which all of our gas and everything was fed through. Like, we really wanted that to be true to life. And I think we managed to do it for the most part. But part of the consequence of that is stuff goes wrong, especially because human beings aren't meant to survive that deep in the water. And so, I think on multiple occasions when Finn and I were underwater kind of prepping to shoot, we just feel our air go out. And, it's one of the first things that you learn in scuba diving is how to deal with your oxygen all of a sudden stopping. So we knew it was happening, but I think it's one of those things where you go home at the end of the day and you're like, did I almost drown?
Yeah. Right. We had one occasion.
I remember that time.
Yeah.
When you had to get that helmet off. I haven't stressed
scary.
Like that.
Yeah, that was scary.
Oh my God.
I've repressed that one from my memory. You just unlocked it again. That's nice.
I forgot about that.
I'd forgotten about that one. I moved on. Now I'm right back in.
When did you bring that back for me? That little moment. Yeah, that was intense. I mean, you're going underwater. There is a breath issue if you run out of oxygen, which not everybody's had that experience underwater. I had it one time, but that was not in this context.
Oh, man.
Yeah, when you run out of air,
deeper story.
Goes.
I'll tell you
It disappears. It's like you're sucking on a Coke bottle or something. It's just gone. So it happens immediately. And we had a couple of occasions where Simu and I would look at each other and we'd be like, are you struggling? Are you unable to breathe right now? And then obviously training kicks in, you get the backup air and it's all fine. And there was another time where I must have bumped my tank. So we wear backup tanks on the back for that exact moment. But there was another time where I must have bumped it on something underwater while shooting a scene. And I just remember you looking at me, and Simu's very, very calm in these situations and was a great scene partner. But he kind of looked at me and was just pointing behind me, and I kept turning around. But as I turned around, I wouldn't see anything because it was coming out of the back of my head. And he was like, "Yeah, that doesn't look good." And then we actually ended the dive right there because, but yeah, things can go wrong. But thankfully, we had really good training from the guys, and we were prepared for almost anything. But it's spooky. It's very, very unusual. You realize actually how dangerous it can be when something goes slightly wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it feels like a very physically demanding role, of course, but I imagine it was also rather intellectually challenging because there is a lot to this job and they sort of I feel speak another language in a way. So I'm curious, what's the most interesting thing that you learned about deep sea diving through filming this?
I think it was everything around SAT chambers and why SAT chambers are necessary, and the whole science of compression and decompression, the way that gases in your body behave when they're compressed to a certain in a certain way, and that's why when our divers go into SAT, they go in there for 4 weeks at a time. And then when it's time to decompress, it doesn't happen instantaneously. It happens very, very slowly over the course of 4 days. There is just so much science behind it. And Alex, again, I thought did a wonderful job at communicating that in a movie that, ultimately people go to watch because of characters. But in order for you to even understand and appreciate the journey, it's there's so much kind of surrounding requisite science that you have to kind of wrap your head around, which was.
It's like a wild thought to imagine when they were first starting out and they didn't know exactly, okay, you're going to need this much helium or this much nitrogen.
Yeah.
It's wild that it took a while before they developed, this is the proper combination of elements, for the SAT chamber.
It's wild to think of the consequences of getting it wrong too. It's how would you possibly have known? It probably was a trial by error sort of situation.
Yeah.
Not to get I'm always bringing the energy down. What am I doing?
Morbid.
Oh
you
my
got to
God.
do something to lift.
I'm going to the left. All the serotonin's gone. I'm like,
I was in the best mood.
Yeah,
And then, Jesus.
Oh, God. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, I love that you mentioned the characters because the characters are so strong in this. And I feel like you can even just see it through this interview. You have such a great chemistry with each other that I feel like is very necessary for a movie like this to work. So I'm curious, how did the three of you sort of develop that on-screen dynamic?
It was really necessary. These guys, I tell you, it was, you know, what could have been, what could have been a really, you know, difficult shoot just because of the, you know, how
Tight space.
tight space. It just was, it was fun. By the end of the day, you were like disappointed when they said that's a wrap. It's like, come on, man, I'm having such fun with these guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really important for this project, and luckily, I personally feel lucky because I got, you know, saddled with some pretty cool scene partners.
To the extent that we would be stuck in a bell for however many hours of the day, just taking the mickey out of each other the whole day, and then we'd leave and we'd go and play like paddle, or we'd go for dinner, and we'd just be like, we were pretty much with each other like the whole time. Apart from when we were sleeping, we were like hanging out the whole time. I mean, and that's like credit to just like how easy it is to just slot in, and even like today we haven't seen each other in months, and it's just like kind of straight back to being in those claustrophobic environments. But yeah, couldn't have done it with two better people.
I would say one exception.
Okay.
Which I don't know if you noticed, which is that anytime we invited Woody to go underwater with us, he would be strangely absent. He would always be busy with something.
Yeah, nice.
He really loved hanging out with us, and then we're like, "Come down with us," and he'd be like, "Oh, what?
I like it above the
crazy.
water. I don't know about under the water." Good point. Good point. I didn't realize how much that hurt.
No, I don't blame you. I think I would also probably stay above the water. But thank you guys so much. It was such a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm really excited for everyone to get to see this movie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Take care.